Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Rob Volpe. Rob is the CEO, Chief Catalyst, Speaker, Author, Empathy Activist at Ignite 360. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Rob. Rob, welcome.
Hello, Siddique. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Thank you so much. Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
I think if I think about starting my company, I was in my kitchen. I had been consulting with another insights and marketing firm, which is the work that I do. And they needed me to become an employee. I was an independent contractor at that point. I'd been working with them for a few years. They wanted me to become an employee. I had worked really hard, though, to build their business. I had asked for equity. They came back to me and said, unfortunately, they couldn't do that. So it was like, all right, well, let's look at what a contract looks like. And they made a very generous offer. And I was standing in my kitchen, or sitting in my kitchen, actually looking at the contract, and I saw my name and the words employee in the legal definition, all caps and everything. And every fiber of my being was screaming out to me, no, don't do this. This is wrong. This isn't who you are. And, you know, when you get a message from the universe that's that loud and clear, you have to listen to it. And I took a deep breath and I was like, all right, I'm going to have to go out on my own. And the next day I called my lawyer and started to figure out how to launch my own firm. And then away we went. And that was 10 years ago.
What are the top 3 mistakes to avoid?
Oh, gosh, just 3. I would say the ones for me. One is to be really mindful of the unintended consequences of good intentions. You can see on this whiteboard behind me, in our first year, we hit $1 million in revenue in 6 months. And I had no idea how much money we might be able to make. And it was like, oh my God, $1 million. And the gentleman that was handling the finances at the time, we got really excited about that. And he was like, oh, maybe we can hit $2 million by the end of our first year. And it's like, yeah, $2 million, that'd be good. And he put a thermometer basically to measure our progress on that board. What ended up happening though is I'd come back, I travel a lot for work. I'd come back to the office and I'd see that number and I'd know, oh, we got to hit 2 million and how are we progressing? And oh, we've only got, 3 or 4 months left. And I started making bad decisions. And so while we had good intentions for monitoring our progress, setting a goal, the unintended consequence of that was that I was taking on too much work and we were getting out over our skis, as you might say, taking on too much work, which then led to poor work quality, which then led to unhappy customers, which then leads to other issues. So be careful with the unintended consequences of good intentions. The other mistake to avoid, I call this one, it's finances, not feelings. It's taken me a long time. This has actually been on my kind of growth and development goals, is to just get comfortable with the finances, know more about them. Don't get emotionally invested in whether you're having a profit or a loss. Try to look at it objectively, try to extract my own feelings from it. And the third one, honestly, is about taking care of your mental health. If you are starting a company, if you're running a company, whether it's a startup or a big one, it is so demanding on your time and it can be all consuming. There's some really negative detriments. They also say, and the saying is true, it's lonely at the top. When you're at the top, it's very isolating. There's nobody for you to talk to. You need to go find those people. Find the folks that you can share, that you can learn from. I've been seeing a therapist for 9 years now, and it's helped my own personal mental health as well as then how I approach the work. So it's made me stronger as an entrepreneur, as a CEO, and growing my business. And there's no shame. There's no shame in it. There's no shame in getting help for things that you need. So definitely taking care of mental health is another one.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm my personality type. I'm what's in the Enneagram. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but in the Enneagram, I'm a 7, which is the adventurer. And, starting a business is an adventure. But the Enneagram 7 does not dwell in bad news or bad feelings for very long. And the way that plays out for me is, I examine what's happened. I learn from it. I determine what the lessons are, how I can apply them, and then try to move forward. So I don't know that I've got yes, I have some failures. I had my own consulting firm. I had a consulting practice 20 years ago that didn't make it. Not necessarily due to my own efforts, but I learned from the experience. It was back when 9/11 occurred. I was living in New York at the time, business dried up. Had nothing to do with things that I was doing necessarily, but I did need to figure out how to rebound from that. So I think it's always about examining what happened, what went wrong, what can you learn from it, and how do you move forward from there?
What are your top 3 success secrets that others can model from?
Sure. So I am highly empathetic, and I'm not talking about emotional empathy. I'm talking about cognitive empathy and being able to see the point of view and the perspective of others. So I think number one secret to success for me is having empathy with other people and realizing it's not all about you. And that's about your clients as well as your customers, your own employees, vendors, everybody that supports you, and being able to see your point or their point of view so that you can serve them better. And I believe that by serving them better, they will actually serve you better in return. So it's a nice sort of reciprocal circle there. Other secrets and success stories: nurturing a strong culture. The early days of a company can be crazy. I call it the Wild West. You've got to do what you can to really nurture the culture, support the people that are supporting you. Create the environment that you want to work in, that you're happy to wake up to and go to every single day, and that they're hopefully happy to wake up to and go to every day. And if you nurture that culture and do that early on, it will actually reap a lot of benefits for the organization as it matures. And then finally, my third one is to have very few sacred cows. I have a commitment to quality and to excellence, but otherwise you've got to be open to change and to listen to people when they come to you with change. So, I hold on to quality and excellence in the work that we do, but everything else is on the table for discussion.
We are about to move into lightning round. That means quick question and quick answer. Are you ready?
Yes.
What are you grateful for today?
Grateful for today, my health and the health of the people around me.
How young are you?
I am 18 with 34 years of experience.
You get 10 out of 10 on this answer.
Thank you.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
I hope I never grow up. I want to stay young at heart forever. But seriously, I think I've always imagined myself opening a yoga studio and teaching yoga when I'm older.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
As I was saying, I'm pretty resilient. That's forged from being bullied when I was in elementary school. I learned at an early age how to bounce back from things. And I think what I typically do, I examine the challenge. I think about paths that might get me out of that challenge, and what the desired outcome is, and then work towards that and stay focused.
How do you start your day?
Opening my eyes. And not just physically opening my eyes, but starting to read, take things in, have a hot beverage, sip that slowly, take in some exercise. It's just opening my eyes up in all aspects.
What is the advice you will give to younger yourself?
Probably to learn a little more about the finances so that I don't have an emotional connection to financial things, just to have a little bit more knowledge and awareness of that.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
My husband is incredibly supportive. He's, been very open to all the things that I've come up with over the years. And I think when he sees my passion and the pursuit of that and what the opportunity might be, then he's been very open to it and committed and participating in it. And he actually works in my company now. So you invest them and enroll them.
What is the impactful business book you have read? What did you learn from it?
Okay, so this is the book, Honestly Speaking by Andrew Blotke. I highly recommend it. It is all about how to communicate. And the big lesson from this is it's about what people hear as much as about what you say. And how do you craft messages and make sure people are hearing what you're wanting them to hear and understanding what to do with it. So, Honestly Speaking, Andrew Blotke.
Why being impactful is important to you?
I think everybody's purpose in life is to have some sort of impact. I mean, if you think about big or small, whether we're creating, inspiring, informing, supporting, we want to be validated. We want to know that we have meaning. And so I think I am like everybody else. I'm just finding my own path and how to do that.
Who is your living mentor and what's the impact?
So right now, a living mentor, there's a gentleman by the name of Jerry Hasselmeyer. He's the former CEO of a competitive firm. And so I met him a couple years ago, and he coaches me regularly. And it's been such a gift because he's walked a very similar path to what I'm going through now. So it's not always the exact answer because the situations are slightly different, but he's really lived with some of the things that I'm going through. And that's been a great source of support and vision and guidance.
I love to interview your mentor. Do you mind making an introduction to me?
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
What do you want to be remembered for?
What do I want to be remembered for? Helping people understand one another and be kinder to each other. I think if I'm able to achieve that with some folks, that would be an amazing thing to leave behind.
Who is your ideal client?
So we have a couple different ideal clients. One, we work with a lot of large corporations, given the nature of our business. And we also work with smaller businesses that are looking to understand who their consumer is. Maybe the founder isn't with the organization anymore, or they've grown to a point where they really need to rally behind the idea of like, who are they working for? What are they doing this for? What their why is.
How can we support you?
I've got a new book coming out called Tell Me More About That.
Yeah.
And visit ignite-360.com. You can learn more about the book and hear that. You can follow me on LinkedIn. Just search Rob Volpe and Empathy Activist. I'll come up. And I'm also on Instagram, empathy_activist there.
We are about to wrap up. I'd like to have a few words about your today's guest experience on the show. Here is my question. What would you say about your today's guest experience on the show?
I've had a great time. You've been really wonderful. You've asked good questions and you're listening. And I think that's great. Thank you.
What would you say as a final word?
Get to know other people. Be able to say, I can see your point of view. Have empathy.
Thank you so much, Rob, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.